Just getting a message telling me that moderation makes everybody feel safe. So I hope that none of you feel safe, because there is no moderation here. But there we go. The only moderation we will have is in the amount we spend on figures. Yeah, okay. So hello and welcome to another live stream. Now, what is the date today? The date is the 9th. So this, I think, we are barreling towards the last of the painting live streams of 2024. Let me just put in my pin number. Hello, Imrahil. How you doing, buddy? You did me some great service at the Lord of the Rings Weekender. You'll be very pleased to hear. Absolute animal. Imrahil is an absolute beast of a man. So hello, Ben. Hello from Tennessee. And hello back to Tennessee. I shall be enjoying some Jack Daniels later on. So that's my my connection with Tennessee. So hello, welcome. Right, now today is going to be a bit of a funny one. What I'm hoping to do today is do a bit more on the caballeros on here, the cavalry. What I'm wanting to get done is the flesh, the bronze helmets, and the lancers. What I also want to look at is have a little bit of a discussion. Hello, Paul. Hello, David. I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion about basing for Epic, because, as you may have seen from the thumbnail, I have decided to rebase my Epics. We based them a few weeks ago. I've decided to rebase the infantry, and I'll come on to that in a bit. Hello, other Paul. Hello, brother Paul. Right, now, bear with me. I'm just trying to get my... I'm just trying to get it up on my laptop so I can see the chat a bit easier. As regular viewers will know, the internet up here is not great. So here we go. You're painting British Guards from the Crimean War. I am very jealous, Ben. I am awaiting my British Guards from the British Intervention Force as we speak. The Perry said that they'd pick them on the day, but that was last week, so they've not arrived in the post yet. So hopefully they will do, though. And it's for my invasion of Britain scenario that I've become slightly obsessed with in recent times. So as I said, what we're going to do is we're going to do the Lancers here. I've got a nice Steel Legion drab for these. I tend to do Lancers paler rather than darker. Some people might use Gore-Grunter fur or Mornfang brown, but I like a more neutral, a lighter brown. Just I don't know, I just do. And here we go. This takes the paint really nicely. Again, I'm just using the side of the brush here. It's very nice. Because I'm not doing these guys, I know I've not got anywhere near as advanced on these troops here. But as we're doing the Lancers, we might as well do them all, haven't we? Warriors Foundry. Oh, delicious. I bet they're absolutely fantastic. Fantastic models. Painting the 24th Regiment of Foot. Very good. Is that for Napoleonic or is that for Zulu Wars? The South Wales borderers. That's the Ossifuran, so I'm not going to do him. I thought about doing the Eagles, but their flagpoles were a pale blue, so I'm not going to do those. But we'll pop back on here. Thank you, Steve. So how's everyone's week been? How's the weather where you are? If there's anyone joining me from Florida, I hope you are safe and well. And how's your weather been? But how's it everywhere else? It's been pretty drizzly here today, which has been a bit annoying because I have had some War Master models outside I need to cure. I've got a War Master game on next Thursday, and I need to get the army printed. Some of you may know I am currently the US champion of War Master, which I won at Adepticon. So, having won them with my Dark Elves, I'm now trying to repeat the success with Lizard Men this time. I always have to leaven my War Master success, though, by saying we played basically the same guys the following day at Epic. Which is sort of if War Master is the fantasy, Epic is the 40k. They absolutely rolled me. It was, you know what? It was really good games, but they absolutely pounded me into the ground. So they certainly take their 40k seriously over stateside. That is for sure. Right, where are we? We have complete trust in your tech and my total mastery of it. Yes, well, you may be surprised here. There is a background noise. That's actually an angle grinder. Usually you can hear in the background chugging away my 3D printer. But as I came up tonight and took the overnight print off, I saw that I had quite a significant number of failures in the center of the FEP sheet, which makes me think it's time for a new FEP sheet. I get through FEP sheets quicker than I do pairs of underpants, which either tells me I'm using my FEP sheets wrong or I should change my pants more often. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, no, unfortunately, about half of the piano miniatures French I was printing failed to print. Now, they have printed successfully in the past from this file, so I suspect that's the FEP sheet rather than the file. But that's okay. I mean, I got about probably got about a dozen or 15 line infantry out of it, so it wasn't a complete bust. It's just going to need cleaning and repairing before I go again. Now, so I saw we did Salamanca. Fantastic. Yes, Salamanca is actually one of my favorite battles. So a fine choice. Now this guy here has got like a wooden port. Is it called a port fire? Is it or something? Like the stick with the slow match wrapped around it. I might as well do that while I'm here, hadn't I? Now I'm just going to quickly take these off camera. Apologies, but you can see things like the top of the lance. That's going to need doing, and I'm going to need to hold it vertically for this. So apologies, I shall be as quick as I can. That's one done. That's two. This is where a multi-camera setup would be helpful, but also expensive and technical. And there we go. Oh god, yeah, this one definitely needs doing. Now something like this touching up, I guess I could just ignore it for now and then do it when they're based, but I'd rather actually base the finished figures. Then I don't need to worry about them again. So that is all of the lancers done. I've done the port fire as well, so that is good stuff. Right, now let's have a look at some of the comments. 75 degrees and sunny. Oh, fantastic. Well, that's better than it is here, I can assure you. Any chance I'm going to cover collecting Napoleon's German division in Spain? Also, I watched your February. When did I serve? Well, serve's a bit of a strong term. I was only in the territorial army, and I left. So on the 6th of June this year was the 20th anniversary of me coming back from Germany, and that was the last thing I did with the army. After that, I handed my kit in, not because like Germany was that bad or anything, just because I'd sort of I'd decided while I was in Germany that this perhaps wasn't for me, which was in absolutely no way informed by the fact that I've been blowing stuff up with artillery. And I very quickly realised that if the enemy calls in artillery on you, you're dead. That's basically it. So I didn't really fancy that very much. Right, now I've got a little thing here. Finishing off Ferdinand von Württemberg's Walloons. Ah, very good. Past few days, Southwest. Yeah, no, absolutely. Right, now I've got a little palette here. This is going to be my white paint. What I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to do a very quick highlight on things like gauntlets and straps. Now, I'm not going to go overboard on this. I'm going to swap brushes to a relatively new brush because I want it to have quite a good point. So I'm going to pop that there. Get some white on. As you can see, I've not got a huge amount because I'm really not planning on doing much. Let me get that so the light's not shining directly on it, blinding everyone watching. So it's just things like the strap that goes over the shoulder here. Quickly get that. I'm going to do in the center of the strap as well, so I'm leaving the the grey, not grey here, the Corax white on either side of it, and that's just going to let the going to leave it to have a little bit of a differentiation. It means there's a bit of a highlight there. Not sure what's going on with this gauntlet. There we are. Strap there. So yeah, with the gauntlet, it's just the wrist guard there, back of the hand. That's all I'm doing. What I could do while I'm here, in fact I probably will, is a very cheeky highlight of the pennants on the lancers as well. So let me just do this strap back here. And then I'm going to do the front straps as well. The front's probably more important than the back. Unless you're my troops, who will probably spend most of their time running away. So I saw Alex from Storm. Oh, I've not done his plastron, have I? Well, I'll highlight roughly where his strap's going to be. I saw that Alex from Storm of Steel has painted 2 bases of riflemen. So I put in the comments, we'll match them with our lancers. Which he did say bring it on. So hopefully, maybe around about Christmas time, we'll be able to get a game going on. Now, Alex is not a big fan of black powder. That's absolutely fine. I'm more than happy to play something else. At this scale, I might even suggest to him that we have a cheeky game of Beluga, which I know he is a big fan of. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've been wanting to get into Beluga, but I'm not. Is it still for sale? Can you still buy the all the cards? I know he did a I know they're quite expensive, but I don't necessarily mind splashing out as long as you can still get them. I'm not paying sort of out of production prices for them. I'm not paying, 100 quid for a pack of cards. I mean, it's crazy. It's not Pokemon. Which Napoleonic battle is the best introduction to Napoleonic Wargaming? I think I've got to go with, as sad as it makes me to say, I am going to have to go with Waterloo, I think, just because it's so iconic and it's very simple, isn't it? It's an attack and defend scenario. You've got mass waves of attackers. How long can you hold out for? It makes it even makes a really good solo game, as we may discover in the not too distant future. But more on that in a future video. So yeah, I'm just doing these pennants here. I can never remember whether it's white over red or red over white on these. I have a feeling it's red over white, but I can never remember, so I may as well just highlight the whole thing, hadn't I? And when it comes to putting the red on, it'll be good. I'll put it on the right side of it then. Maybe. I probably won't. I'll probably put it on the wrong way. So there we go. And then quickly the other side of the pennants. This is just adding a little bit more detail. You wouldn't necessarily need to do this stage, I don't think. I can see I've still got a few. His reins need doing, but I've not done the rest of him, have I? So that's perhaps not the most important thing in the world. But it just gives you a little bit more, helps the figures pop a little bit more. And I think at this small scale, that's what's important. So just run it along the top, pennant here, pennant there. While I'm here, I'm feeling a little bit cheeky. I might even highlight use the rest of the white to highlight the white on the horses here. So I'm being fairly slapdash with this. I'm not being as neat as I would be on a 28mm model. And that's because the highlights really, the model takes the highlights where it takes the highlights really. And also the highlights are what's going to draw your eye. So it's almost like the highlight is where you say it is on these models, rather than necessarily having to go with what's on the model. Ralph says, hello, Zukos Boots. Ralph says, I'm keeping my eye out for Blucher, but haven't found the cards anywhere. Still seems possible to purchase the book directly from the author. Don't currently have a printer, so PDF no use to me. Yeah, I mean, I could get the PDF, I suppose, but I don't know. I quite fancy getting the actual rulebook. I don't mind spending the money. But as you say, it's just actually being able to find it. Okie dokie. So we've got the highlights done, got the flags done. We are good to go. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is the helmets. Now, I've been painting a lot of brass helmets recently as my Romans are progressing as well. My 10mm Romans. They're looking really nice, actually. In fact, I'm not going to do the helmets. I think I made this mistake last time. It's too late for this one. I've already started on him. And the reason I'm not is because I'm going to do the faces first. The reason I'm going to do the faces first is because the helmets have a brass scale chin strap, as you would expect, and obviously I'm going to need to paint that over the flesh. So that's why that's going on. What do I think of the Cromarty Forge STLs? Well, I should declare an interest in that the chap at Cromarty Forge, not because I'm anyone important or anything, mainly because I'm not. But the chap at Cromarty Forge did give me the files for the Republican Romans free, so I should just the epic strips. So I should declare that as an interest. I mean, my name's not Keir Starmer. So with that caveat in place, I think they are absolutely incredible. I think they are so good. Are they better than the Warlord ones? I'm going to say yes, but again, there's an important caveat. The Warlord ones, you don't get like a strip of full miniatures. You get sort of the fronts of the front guys, the middle, the heads of the middle guys, and then the rears of the rear guys. So unlike Cromarty Forge, you don't get the full detail on all three ranks. So they are a lot quicker and easier to paint, but they're not as detailed. So it depends on what you're looking for, really. I do like the whole sort of masked look of the Warlord ones. I think it's quite an innovative idea that they've done them that way. But being a bit old school, for me, Cromarty Forge, absolutely incredible. Just I just can't even. I played a game of Art de la Guerre with my Parthians. Got absolutely spanked. Came home and was like, right, I said, I'm buying some Romans. So I bought the 50mm Imperial Romans, and that's where the he said he brought the strips out. So I said, oh, where are the strips for the 50mm for the Imperial Romans? He said, oh, I've not done them yet, so have the Republican ones, which was ridiculously generous of him. But yeah, so long waffle short. I think the Cromarty Forge ones are absolutely superb. If you've got a printer or you know someone with a printer, just get them. It's as simple as that, really. They are really are very good. For the price as well, I don't think you can knock it. I mean, I think the Republican Army is, I want to say $40. I certainly know the Carthaginian one is $75. But that gives you the Carthaginian, the full Carthaginian range, the full Gallic range, not including the Britons, the full Spanish range, and the full Numidian range. So, I mean, it's an absolute no-brainer. The only complaint I have with them is they don't do Greek hoplites. So that's my only criticism, is that they don't do Greeks yet. It's a real glaring omission, because Greek hoplites should be sort of 60% of Rome's enemies at that time. So I'm sure they will do them, but they just don't do them yet. The Britons are awesome as well, the little chariots. I'm very tempted by them. Right, where are we? I hate the games that require cards or auxiliary products. That's fair enough. I mean, the cards are the units. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like if you consider miniatures to be an auxiliary product, then the cards are as well. But if you don't consider miniatures to be auxiliary, then the cards aren't, because that's sort of what you use instead of minis. Now, whenever I've played it, and I say whenever I've played it as if I'm some seasoned veteran, I'm not. I've only played it 3 times. What has happened is the cards have been revealed, because you play them face down, so you sort of hide from your opponent what they are. And then you flip the card over, and that shows you what the unit is. And then once that's been done, then you put some models on top of the card. So that's however I've played it. So I guess in that case they are like ancillaries. But I'll be honest, my dice collection will attest I am an absolute sucker for ancillaries. I have to have the dice that match the army. And Dice of War, he has taken many of my monies. So I've done one side of the flesh. I'm doing the other one. Now, I don't tend to use flesh very often these days, because I much prefer the effect that you get from the contrast paint, so Guilliman flesh. But in this case, what I like is using the flesh with the brass and then using a sepia wash over the top. Caliber Books are selling the Blucher Rules books and Peninsula War cards. This is on their eBay page. Well, I am off to where am I off to? I'm off to the other Partisan this Sunday. So hopefully I'll have them there. If they are, I may be tempted to pick them up, because there's not really much else I need, to be honest. I'm sure I'll pick something up there. I'm sure I'll pick up the pioneer trains of the Swedish Army from June 1808 to September 1808 or something like that. I'm sure I'll talk myself into buying something like that. You played a British versus Romans with them last night, did you? The Cromarty Forge. What did you think? Did you were the models painted? Were they unpainted? How did the game go? And what was your impression of them? Because I've waxed major lyrical about them. I don't think you need. Yeah, I think the I do think that the cards are they've got all the rules for the units on, so you might be able to download just the stats for the units, but the cards have got all the stats on, and they are the actual units. So I'm sure there's a way of playing Blucher without them, but you may as well use them, I think, if that's the sort of 90% of the point of the game. This guy's got a Busby on. I'm not sure that French Hussars had Busbys in 1815, but I guess these ones do. So as you can see, with these ones here in particular, I'm a long way off finishing them. But as I'm here, I'm doing the flesh. I may as well do everyone, hadn't I? Someone else says they're Russian artillery. No, they are French artillery. They are French foot artillery as well, I believe. So actually, while I've got the bronze out, I think I'll do the barrel as well. There we go. I think that's everyone. Probably not. There you go. Hello, Rattel. I got your message earlier on. Oh, that reminds me. I got a message off someone earlier on, and it came up on my phone, and then I clicked on it, and then it disappeared. So I can't find where it's gone. So if you've sent me a message on Facebook Messenger today, I promise you I'm not ignoring you. It's just that it disappeared before I got a chance to read it. Please send it to me again, because it was about Under Eagles to Glory 2. Someone had just bought a ticket, and they had a question about it. So it seemed to be fairly pressing. So please send me another message on Facebook Messenger. And I'm really, really sorry, but I don't know what was going on with my Facebook Messenger, but it showed it, and then I clicked on it and it disappeared, and it's not on my like red messages or anything like that. So please get in contact again, and I will do my best to answer your question. Particularly if it was about you want to bring an army that's not covered or something like that. I spoke to General Dan today. He informed me that there's no Portuguese list. You can only have them alongside the British. So we thrashed out a Portuguese list, and did some points for the Spanish guerrillas. So yeah, you know, these things are possible. Just as I said, I'm not sure what happened. Please hit me up again, and I will answer your question. Painted, but you're gonna buy the S. Yeah, that's how they get you, man. The Britons suffered a crushing defeat. Now, see, that leaves me torn, because I am, of course, British. I am a Yorkshireman, but my family are Richardsons, so we're actually from Denmark originally. So I've actually got no problem with the Celts getting slaughtered by the Romans. I'm actually pro-Roman on this one, so I'm quite glad to hear that. The people should know when they're conquered, according to Quintus. So, but only when it comes to Romans, though. Only when it comes to Romans. So, and Assyrians. Although I've said that, you'd be a brave guy to rise up against the Assyrians. Although plenty of people did. So, right. So I've done the flesh. I'm just going back with the bronze now, or the brass. I'm just doing the hand guards on the sabers, and then I'll go back and do the helmets. So. Again, the handguards are just they're going to be a nice little detail. It's just going to catch the eye when you look at the model, and I think it's worth doing, particularly on these ones, because they're going to be directly looking at your opponent. So these are going to be helmets. Now this guy here is an officer. I could have, would have, should have done this gold. I'm not going to. He's got a bronze one. He's only a Lancer officer. He's clearly not very wealthy. And then I got this one here. He's not like a Hussar officer or anything like that. So you can have brass. Certainly, this epic scale ancients definitely seems to have galvanized ancients, which I think is absolutely fantastic, because I love ancients. It's probably my second period, more so than something like World War II, although I certainly played far more World War II than I do ancients. So no, it's nice to see. It's good to see. It's a bit like the Perrys, I think. So the Perrys did their War of the Triple Alliance. Now, I don't think a single wargamer in the UK had heard of the War of the Triple Alliance until the Perrys brought their models out. So it's one of those things of, do you bring out the models to meet demand, or do you create demand by bringing out the models? And I think that's something that the Perrys do very well. And I think it's something that for ancients, which Perrys don't cover, the Perrys don't do any Romans or Iron Age, Bronze Age, or any of that stuff. I think that's kudos to Warlord, and I'm glad that it's made that period more popular. Epic scale, yes, Andrew. These are the epic scale French. I'm gonna have a quick look at some 15mm before we go, and some epic scale Rushkies that I've done as well. So, did I spill blue paint everywhere? No, I don't think so. I've got some. We've got some naval tiles on the gaming table here. Do Palermos do Napoleonic rules? I believe they do. Yes. That's as much information as I can give you on that one, I'm afraid. I didn't enjoy Blucher when I first played it, but now looking at the rules to 2mm scale. Any other rule sets out there that work for 2mm? Well, Polymos, they're for 6mm, aren't they? So I assume they would. There was another set of rules, a very, very, very old set of rules called DRAM, and that was done by the Wargames Research Group. That I would recommend for 2mm. I played it in 6mm. That was the Austerlitz game that I played all those many years ago. So that would work as well, if you can find that from the Wargames Research Group. But I don't know. I mean, does anyone else know? You guys are more tuned into small scale stuff than I am. So that's probably one to ask the community, that one. I've washed my brush out because I'm an idiot. I haven't done the helmets yet. I thought I'd finish with the brass. I obviously have not. So let's crack on with that. Got a bit carried away there. Now with this one, I'm going over the base of the plume. I'm not too concerned about that, and if I'm honest, I'm not massively concerned about going onto the face. And the reason is I'm going to wash the face and the helmet together, so they're going to be sort of blended together anyway. But I'm going to wash them with a sepia, which is going to give them quite a brassy tone. So if you're ever doing gold, I like to stay away from sepia. I prefer a brown wash because otherwise it gives it a like a coppery look, but or a bronzy look. But that's exactly what we want to go for here. So that's why sepia is the jam. And sepia can also, when you use it on flesh, you can add just a little bit of colour, so it looks more looks a bit more naturalistic. Although if you put too much on, everyone looks like they've been on a sunbed in Marbs for 2 weeks, or maybe they're just from Essex. The Viking warrior, that's well timed. We were just talking about Danelaw and Vikings. I'm not familiar with Fall-In. Where's that taking place? Is that in the States? That one? For us in the UK, this weekend we have the Other Partisans to look forward to. That's in Newark. That one, which is not New Jersey, but Newark in Lincolnshire, which is near Boston, not in Massachusetts. It's off-season Historicon in East Pennsylvania. Oh, cool. Okay. I am very, very tempted by Historicon. I have to say, it is very much tempting me. Some of you will know I did Adepticon this year. Well, that's always been one of my ambitions, was to go to Adepticon. So I've done that now. Absolutely loved being in America. Love the country. So I'm thinking of either going back to Adepticon, not next year, the year after, or possibly Historicon next year again, or perhaps the year after. So I've got a holiday planned in January. So it depends on how much that costs. It will depend on Historicon. So okay, Tim, I'll just tweet back in. Oh no, he will, I'm sure. Yeah. Again, he's someone who's very very enthusiastic about the hobby. I certainly can't take that away from him. They did very, very well in the Yorkshire Gamers World Cup of Manufacturers, didn't they? A little bit too well, in my opinion. But what do I know? Very little. So just goes to show. Let's have a look. Quick question about Under Eagles to Glory. How strict are the rules about some brigades being limited in number? As an example, it's only possible to bring one Russian Guard infantry brigade, but in 1812 there were 2 in one division. We are going to stick with the rules for one. It might say, for argument's sake, 1 cavalry brigade for every 3 infantry brigades or something like that. I am going to stick by those, I'm afraid. It's a little bit unfair because the French Imperial Guard have their own army list. So that penalizes the Russians in the way that the French aren't, because obviously it's the whole army for the French's Guard. But because I'm planning on taking the French Guard, I am going to be super biased and say no. No, I'm joking. It's because I'm just going to keep it simple for now. Certainly going forward, that is absolutely something that could change. But for now, I think we'll just keep it as simple as we can. And I think it's 1 Russian Guard brigade per 2 or 3 infantry brigades. So if you can get, for argument's sake, it's per 3. If you can get 6 infantry brigades and 2 Guard brigades in, then absolutely go large on that one. Historical is super fun. I went to the last one and thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's not a question of not wanting to go. It's just a question of it's going to be quite an expensive trip. And it's if I've got the funds is going to be the problem on that one. Come to Tennessee, I have connections at Daniels. Oh, mate, I'd absolutely love to come to Tennessee. So, as a huge Justified fan, Kentucky and Tennessee is somewhere I'd absolutely love to go. So I'm giving my sepia a good old shake. One of the reasons why I'm thinking of Adepticon is I do want to go back to Chicago because I want to see the U-boat, which I didn't get to see last time I was there. I did have the opportunity, but I had sort of one day off. Well, I had 2 days off. One day I went into Chicago to go and see Nighthawks because I couldn't go to Chicago and not stand before Nighthawks. And then the second day I was just absolutely exhausted, so I just stayed in the hotel around the pool and just chilled out, if I'm honest. Which was much needed, but a real missed opportunity. So I'm just banging the sepia on here. I'm putting it on reasonably thick. And I'm starting with the face and rubbing it back from there. And that's because I want the face to get a good wedge of it. I potentially could have done the hair before I did this as well, because that would also wash the hair, as it were. But I'm not too concerned about it because I'm probably just going to go when they're on a base. I'm probably just going to go round them all with like a black or a brown, and just dot everyone's hairdos. With these guys, when I do their Shakos, I'll probably pull it down the back like a mullet, and that'll do their Shakos and hair. So him in the Busby. Any brass that I can see on the knuckles and stuff, you can do that as well. David Benson, I was unofficially organising the campaign supporting Bacchus and the other war games. The World Cup was quite successful. Yeah, absolutely. No, the 6 mil certainly overperformed. So no, that's good. Obviously got enthusiastic fans out there. And hey, Bacchus do a great job. So good on them. Have I missed anyone? I see. This is how you end up missing people. I really am like ADHD special needs when it comes to this stuff. How did I miss that guy's plastron? I really do not. I do not get it. I really do not. Let's do the old cannon barrel as well. I've been trying to find my Lauren Forest to do the carriage with, but it seems to be eluding me at the moment. I must have put it somewhere safe where I remember where it is, and that's why I can't find it. What time are we on? 6:45. All right, that's perfect. Parfait. You know, actually, he's wearing a covered Shako, so I'm going to do his whole Shako with a sepia, and that is the Shako cover painted. There we are. Oh, shit, at the back of his hand. Well, there you go. Now, the officer, I deliberately didn't do his hands because he's going to be wearing gloves, so that's why his hands haven't been done. This guy holding the business end, and pop him on the ramrod. Give his face a good old rub. So there we go. So that is the. I was hoping to get these finished today, but I forgot to bring the steel up with me. So that rather put the kibosh on that one. I also need to do the boots as well, and some of their legs as well. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. So these are still going to need these are still going to need a little bit more work on. So I'm going to put them to one side for now. We're going to look at some comments. The Science and History Museum is incredible. Aching to go back, haven't been in 2 decades. Is that to Chicago? Yes, I missed that as well, unfortunately. One of the crew of that U-boat has been to some of the military shows. Fair enough. Joysticks a fantastic niche within a niche in a niche. Yes, no, I gave it a miss this week. I normally go, but this year I gave it a miss. Joseph Biden, 42, asks, can I ask what it is you're aiming for with these epics? Just for fun or trying to make a particular formation / battle? That is a good question. I am heading for a usable formation in a event that's happening at the end of the year. It is happening on this has not been officially announced yet, although it's been unofficially announced an absolute ton. It's happening on the last weekend of September next year, so the 27th 28th of September next year. Now what I wanted to look at here is and that one is called To the Sound of the Guns, that one. So it's a little bit different to Under Eagles to Glory. We can talk about that in a future thing. Right, so what I've got here is a Russian battalion. Now, let me get them so you can see them. There we are. So I've got 3 bases here. Now, I am doing 3 bases to a battalion. That's what the events will all be. This is a Russian one. They're in their greatcoats. We've got the Grenadiers here. We've got Command in the middle. And we've got Fusiliers on the left as we look at the right of the battalion. So what you can see is these bases here are the official Warlord Epic bases. And these ones are 60 centimeters. 6 centimeters, 60 millimeters by 20. Now I've actually based them, the Russians, on a 40 millimeter deep base. Now I'm going to keep that for now. Well, I'm tempted to change it to a 30 millimeter deep base. And the idea here is probably not for the Russians, but certainly for the French. I'm going to have at the front of the bases, I'll have the skirmishers. When you're in column of attack, you did actually have a gap between the lines in the column of attack. So again, you could put some casualties at the front there. That might look quite cool or something like that. But the idea here is just to have a little bit more room on the bases rather than just these very cramped ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these Grenadier à Cheval, who are 50mm anyway. They are Essex miniatures. They're a small 50mm. I'm going to take them off. This is War bases. I practice what I preach on my Start Collecting videos. War bases are my absolute go-to for MDF bases. So I'm going to pop these off here. I'm just going to show you, I'm actually going to base these fairly simply. But I want to show you how you can put them on the bases. Now, for heavy formed guard cavalry like this, probably just line abreast like that is going to be the best way to go. Oh, blimey, he didn't want to come off, did he? It's probably just going to be the best way to go. But if you're doing, say, hussars or something like that, you could have them in maybe, if say the cavalry were charging, you could have them in maybe like a flying V formation. So I'm just putting these on, so they're not going to stand up particularly well because I'm not gluing them. But imagine this sort of spread across the full width of the base. You could have them in sort of that formation to show the central one, or you could maybe have 2 up, 1 back, something like that. But because these are standing, I'm going to have them in a pretty much just line abreast. So I've got 5 dudes. So 2, 3, 4, 5. There we are. Now, as you can see, I'm still putting these towards the back of the base. So despite there being a lot more room on the base, I'm still only really using half of it. And that's because if it becomes absolutely vital that we measure the exact distance between two parts, we can always still measure it towards the back end of the base. So that's the standard bearer. He goes there. I'm on Colonel. You can go here. And again, look, he's got a little bit more room now. He was a bit crammed on that base before. So he's got a little bit more room. He can be out and proud. And that's what we want. I come back to him. His base might have got messed up as I was taking it off the plastic base. So we'll have the trumpeter. Now the standard bearer is holding him in place very nicely. I'm just gonna. We could even have the officer out the front of the unit. Is a way of doing it. In fact, I may do that for the dragoons or something like that. I'll have him forward a bit. Hold him up with that paint, and as you can see, they're pretty much in a line, but the officer's just slightly forward, and it means that the flag's going to have a bit more room behind him. I don't like how crammed onto the bases they are. I like it for ancients. I don't like it for Napoleonics. So, whereas weirdly in 28mm Napoleonics, or something like American Civil War, I think seeing them really packed in looks really good. So I don't know. I'm still experimenting with what I think, but as it stands, for the event in September, I will be bringing bases that are 40mm deep, but it's really more the frontage than the depth that's important on these things. So that's how that's my excuse anyway for getting away by using the wrong depth of base. The Viking Warrior is putting off suppressions for some alien-themed terrain. Oh, very good. Is that another? Is it another glorious day in the core or something? Is it? Have I done any videos on Elau? Not specifically. It comes up quite a lot in the video on the Russian Guard, particularly when they nearly capture Napoleon. But no, I've not done any videos specifically on that one. That is something that a series I would like to do in the future is the way that I focus on individuals. I like to focus on individual battles, but the problem is researching them can be problematic without me just sort of regurgitating what's in an Osprey campaign book or something like that. So it's something I want to do. It's something I've put off for now because I'm not certain how I can go around doing it, but it's definitely in the back of my mind as a plan. Certainly, Eli will definitely be on it. It will sort of be the as Napoleonic figures is a lesser known figures. It will be the lesser known battles. And I think Eli definitely falls into that category. Would I do a video about the Hungarians in the Napoleonic era? I mean, I certainly wouldn't say no. I'm not sure. Did they have much independent stuff, or were they not part of the larger Austrian army? To be honest, the Austrians have been a bit of a neglected faction on my channel. So I should probably do a bit more on the Austrians in general, and that would include the Hungarians, yes. Now I'm using Spectre. It's mostly going to be a custom scenario for Fallen. Oh, fantastic. Okay, that's cool. Well, that's what you want from Alien, isn't it? Is you want secrets and lies. That's what it's all about. Hello, Dom. We're just looking at some. Oh, we're just looking at some epic goodies. I know you've been working on your Romans. We had a good chat about Warlords Ancients earlier on. Yes, yeah, we'll be wrapping it up soon. Unfortunately, I missed your the podcast this week. I'm not sure there was a podcast this week. But I missed it because there's a new series about the solar system on, so I was watching that. So apologies, but it wasn't actually that good, to be honest. So I think next week I'll be back watching the live stream. So these ones I'm going to do a little bit more higgledy piggledy. They're still in a basically in a line. His base has been really messed up. They're basically still in a line, but I want it just to look a little bit more interesting. So let me get them on the base, and then I'll get them under the camera. I'll show you what I mean. So these minis were painted many years ago. Looking at them close up here, I thought they were good at the time as well. They probably no. I hope I can paint better now. I probably can't though. Bad excuse you record it. Yeah, no, fair enough. I'll be honest, mate. I was super excited for it, but I was left a little bit disappointed, to be honest. It's worth it for the imagery, though. The CGI, they've certainly spared no expense. So it's definitely worth watching just for that, if nothing else. I'm going to pop him there, and then I'm just going to have a splash more glue. Hello, Conradson. Hello, nice to see you, sir. We are about to wrap up shortly, which is nothing personal, I promise. They had their own brigade-sized formations and reputations. They certainly had their own reputations. Yes, the Hungarians were considered to be very good troops. Weirdly, I read a journal from 1854 that talks about the hot-blooded and cold-blooded peoples of Europe. And the hot-blooded ones were considered to be better natural fighters, but not as good to train. Whereas the cold-blooded ones were better, were easier to train, and thus made better soldiers. And Austrian Germans, and Croats were considered to be cold-blooded, so not natural warriors, but easy to train. Whereas Hungarians, Brits, and Albanians were considered to be hot-blooded, so good natural soldiers, but not very easy to train. Prussians, you will be shocked to hear, were the coldest of the colder-blooded. They were like dinosaurs, which is ironic because in 1806 they were like dinosaurs, weren't they? So I'm going to pop them there. They are going to hold each other up. So as you can see, this one here, this one should be dry right now. That's got a little bit more pizzazz to it, a little bit more movement than let's turn the camera. Than the command base. And the idea there is just to make him look a little bit more interesting, to be honest. Good evening, Weaverfish, and I think that's something that the very confined 20mm depth doesn't really give you. As I say, I don't mind it for ancients because they're all packed in close together. But for Napoleonics, it just seems a little bit of a wasted opportunity for me when you've got things like skirmishes and all that kind of good stuff going on. So there we go. I'm going to call it a day there, I think. We've got, what have we got done today? We've got all the lancers done. We've got all the helmets and the flesh done. Let's have a quick look at that. That's dried now. So they're looking pretty fine. They're pretty fine. To quote, who was that? Was that McFly? I want to say it was McFly. From the year 3000. Yeah, I think it was McFly. So they're looking pretty good. Happy with them so far. I need to get all the metal work done. I need to get the boots done. One of them was missing his trousers. I'm not really sure what went on there. So I need to get that sorted. And then hopefully next week we can look at them all finished. So thank you so much for joining me today, everyone who has. How many have we had? We've had 47 people watching at the moment. Only 24 likes though, so just over 50% of you have given the video a thumbs up. Well, because I love you, I will let you off. But if you wanted to give it a thumbs up on your way out, then that would be most appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. As always, we are barreling towards the end of British summertime, if you can believe it. It is pitch black outside. In fact, I may even have a look to see if I can see the northern lights later. This Sunday's video, now as I say, I'm off to a wargaming show. I'm hoping to get the video recorded now on Sunday. It may be a little later. Apologies for the late broadcasting of this week's video. But it's definitely going to be one that's worth tuning in for, because it's going to be one of the last start collecting videos. And it's not because I don't like doing them. It's because we have pretty much finished. We've pretty much collected pretty much everything that we can collect. But this one's definitely worth keeping an eye out for. Should be usual time, but if it's not out by 6:15, then check again about 7 o'clock. But thank you. I mean, you've all got notifications on anyway, I'm sure. I'm sure you're all subscribed with notifications on, so it'll be fine. But thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you all on Sunday for the next video. If you see me wandering around the other partisan, please say hello, or even sat down with a beer and a sausage sandwich. Please come over and say hello. It's always nice to put faces to names. But thank you very, very much, and I will see you guys later.